LPN program. My name is Kathy George, and I'm an instructor here with Tara Bybee, and we both do the administration part as well as we both teach. And so we wanted to kind of give you a heads up about everything going on with the program so you'll be prepared for next semester. So I'm going to pass around a roll. And so if you can update your information on here, so we'll know who's been here and kind of contact you best. And then maybe what I could do is if I could have you guys introduce yourselves real fast and just tell me kind of your background. You've worked as a CNA and how long? Or not worked as a CNA, how's that? So why don't we just start with you? Sure.
My name's Carson Smith. Yeah, I work as a CNA just for adults, but I currently live in Montello. I'm working for Costco Wholesale. I did all my prereqs at ICU, and just couldn't justify paying their high tuition rates anymore.
So I'm gonna expect good bulk food from you then.
Parties.
Lemon almonds. Got it.
But yeah, I just wanted to get into LPN nursing and just try to get it done. Yeah.
All right.
I'm Taylor Rockwood. I have not worked as a CNA. I actually was in Grove applying, but couldn't get a job because I got work clots.
Oh, I thought you were all there.
I am.
Okay.
My name is Bryson Lynch. I've worked as a psych tech at BHC for almost 2 years, and then this summer I picked up working in the ER and just do CNA / secretary in the emergency room. Definitely enjoy that. So.
I'm Michelle Rumsey, and I am not working in the medical field, just get through school. And I'm just an alternate, so I don't hear to.
Yeah, we have some alternates here today too, so that will be.
I'm an alternate.
Okay. All right.
I'm Alyssa Rumsey. I'm also an alternate, and I work as a CNA / secretary at the hospital in Rexburg on non-baby and labor and delivery.
I'm Allison Mikes. I am a CNA PRN who work at Gables and Ammon, and then I work a few nights a month in women's center and labor delivery at the hospital here in Iowa.
I'm Yvonne Waters. I worked as a CNA for a hospice company this summer. And yeah, I'm just, getting through school and kind of on the bubble trying to decide if I want to do LPN or wait.
I'm Jill Thomas. I work over at Life Care Facility.
I'm Emily Spencer. I am currently a psych tech / CNA at State Hospital. So I've worked there for about almost 4 years.
I'm Christy Winterbottom. I worked at the site for 15 years, but just doing school things.
I'm Sherilyn Christensen. I have worked as a CNA off and on for the past 8 years. Now I'm going to finish finally.
All right. Okay. And I forgot to introduce Jared Gardner. You probably all know him because he used to be a health profession counselor. He's now our division manager over in healthcare. And so, anyway, I want to turn the time over to Tara Bybee now, as well as Jared to answer some questions. What we want to go over is you've heard all the rumors about the changes that are going on, and we wanted to make sure you're completely up to date on what our plan is here, and then we'll go over that and have you ask questions. At 10:30, we have Devon Glover from the bookstore coming over because we have you wear scrubs to class and to lab and everything, and so he has to have orders put in because it can take like at least 4 weeks to get them in because they have to get them embroidered. So he'll come in, so he'll bring some scrub tops so that you can try them on and see what size you want, so you'll be able to know what size to order. And then after that, we'll kind of go through some more things about the LPN program, and then we're planning to get ID badges for those that needed those as well today. So.
Okay, so I'm being keen on 25 minutes for the look on people's faces and being able to have the time necessary for that. So if Devon comes in to present at 10:30 and we need to stop and know what I'm doing, we can revisit that afterwards because he's scheduled to come out and has other things he needs to do. Okay. Okay, so I every one of you should have received a letter.
Yes.
Yes. Every one of you should have received a letter about the changes with the presentation that we're doing on Friday at 9 o'clock, which is when I had planned on presenting this to a big bulk of people. But Mrs. George had asked if I could come in because she was just concerned that, which rightly so, that she doesn't want to go through all this process if those of you guys don't want to stay in the program. So I can present it the way that I was going to present it on Friday, or if you just want to open it up for questions, I am happy to do that as well. So what route would you like? That's fine, that's fine. So our new curriculum has, yes, been approved, and will be starting the fall of 2016. This is new curriculum, which I believe was also attached to your letter as well. Okay, so you should have that as well on your letter. It is a CNA to associate nurse program, okay, instead of CNA to LPN to LPN to RN. Okay, so it's a direct associate. Let me clarify. When I say associate, we here at ITech, being a technical college, you're receiving an applied associate's degree. Okay, the only way that's different is you're lacking a humanities course that we can't offer at a technical college. So when you go on to get a bachelor's degree, we have some articulation agreements signed up for, like with Boise State. You can go straight on to Boise State from ours and get their online bachelor's with no problem. But you do have to take a humanities course on top of our nursing stuff. So that's really what it is when you have an applied associate. It's a lack of G. So, okay. In this new course, there are some differences than what we're doing. In the current RN program, it is 3 semesters in a summer. And all your prereqs have to be done prior to coming in. In this one, your prereqs, you have some that have to be done before entering the professional program. The others could be done if you could be a complete full-time student. So if you're a student that can emotionally, financially, physically handle 14 to 15 credit loads, you'll be able to take your prereqs within the program. If you cannot, then you have the option to take them beforehand or during summer, and then take the professional piece along that way. Okay. One of the keys. I'm going to skip right here for just a second. Remind me to mix that too. One of the key differences between the old and the new RN program. First of all, you had to have your LPN license. Okay. So you guys won't qualify at all for what we currently have. Do you qualify for the new one? Yes, you do. Can I tell you you're going to be way back onto a waiting line? Yes, you will. Because right now during the transition, we will be honoring those who are already currently taking our RN prereqs and those that are already current LPN students. They'll get priority as a seniority based. And then after that transition goes out, there will go no seniority anymore in all the scoring system based upon some things which we'll talk about. So all the ones that I put in red are the same. Okay, those that are in the black are different. So basically in this new program, you will no longer have to take chemistry in the new program. And you're required to take 253, which is a stats class. Whereas in the old program, you can take 123 or 253. Okay, and in order to have stats, you have to either have a high compass score to bypass algebra, or you have to take math 108 to get into 253. And then we've added a nutrition. It's just a 1 credit online nutrition class that you have to take, HT 125, which you guys are going to be getting in your LPN class as well. So that's when that will just be transferable. So as an LPN, depending upon which route you guys took, I need to add that slide too. This is a good trial for me for Friday, so as an LPN, for you guys, depending upon which prereqs you took, you had the ones, if you're going to stay LPN only, you could have taken these, and you could have taken the A&P that was just a quick A&P course, or you could have taken the ones that weren't. I don't know which route you guys went.
with that LPN changer if you guys were on the old LPN catalog, which required almost all of these. So several of you may actually have these prereqs completed. Some of you may not, okay? So you will just have to look at it and say, oh, okay, I've got 227, I've got 228. You know, the ones that I put asterisks with, those are the ones that you have to have completed before we'll let you into the professional program. Okay? Questions with that?
So,
Yeah.
does that put you anywhere if you have a prereqs done already? Basically.
Well, you're a transfer student from ISU, right?
Well, I
But
took-
you've been doing
I
iTech.
did LPN prereqs last year and I finished.
Okay, so you're on that year base.
Yeah.
Okay, so that leads me to this slide. It's probably where we're getting. Okay, so during the transition, we'll be honoring a tier system to be able to help try and make things more fair for all of our students. Those that are on tier 1 will have the highest priority, okay, and so forth. So tier 1 are our current students that have already been accepted, okay, into our RN prereq. So that is not you.
These are already existing LPNs that are working on their RN prereq. Correct?
Yes.
They're already LPNs?
Yeah, they already have their LPN license. They've completed the LPN program.
Or in the process, or will be short?
No.
No, okay, never mind.
So it's just
Yeah.
they've already done the prereqs for the RN as the old catalog, so they're
Yes.
trying to work toward the RN program.
Yes,
That's tier 1.
yeah, so they currently have their LPN license, they're done. The one you're talking about is tier 2.
Okay.
So tier 2, okay, is going to be you guys. Okay? And Jared, chime in if we're not on the same page ever. Okay, so tier 2 is you. So it's the current students in LPN prereqs right now, okay? Or the current LPN students that are already in the professional program, okay? Or the
Is
LPN,
that us, the alternates? Is that what we're considered?
you guys are these guys right here.
We are those now.
Yeah, so you're tier 2. And the LPN students that graduate prior to or by fall of 2016, however, which is you, okay, because you guys will graduate, you'll do spring, then you're gonna do fall, so you graduate in December, because we don't have the summer anymore, okay? So you'll be here and you'll graduate in December, okay? And so you qualify right here. So if you guys are in the program, you stay in the program, you complete the program as an LPN, you will be bumped up to tier 1.
So then we're still not eligible to apply until next, not this coming March.
You can apply in March
We can
if you
apply.
have all your prereqs done.
For the new,
By the end of
the
this
new
month.
prereqs.
So,
But what is our odds of getting in?
how far back in the waiting list are we looking? Like,
I can tell you
we
right
have-
now, which there's typically a 15 to 20%, 25% chance that those that we have been tracking has had some type of a life change that, although they're on our list, they're not gonna come to school anymore. Does that make sense? They've had a baby, they've got married, they've got divorced, they've got a job, they've had a change in mind, they've moved, whatever, okay? Right now, currently, tier 1, we have at least 50 students,
How many
How
are
many are accepted?
only 40 a year.
So they're starting starting in January or not starting until next fall?
They would, the 50 that we're talking about, they would be starting in the fall.
And how many students are you now going to be taking for your program?
So 40 a year.
40 a year.
20 will start in the
20
fall
each
and 20 in
semester.
January.
So really, even
With hopes to increase based upon clinical opportunities.
So we graduate in December of next year, so there's no way we can roll into January, we're looking at least until the fall,
Yeah.
then,
Of 2007.
of 2017.
like where we graduate in
The
December.
earliest, if lucky, would maybe be spring of 2017. But that would be,
That would be pushing.
That
would be
you
going
don't-
right in.
That would be pushing it to only have a few weeks off to then start our RN, correct?
But they would have to apply.
well, you would be, in order for you to get into spring of 2016, you would have to do the catalog now, in March. And so you'd have to have all your prereqs already done.
So the only.
And you'd have to be, there'd have to be not enough tier 1s,
Right,
and there'd have to be not enough of the class prior to you, because they take priority over you as
so
well.
the only thing I'm missing for the new RN So if I go through with the LPN, and in January, when I start my LPN, I say, well, I can handle statistics on top of this, and I take it,
Or you can take stats in the summer, which is super.
but then I can't,
You
then
still
I can't
can't
apply in
apply in
March. I can only apply
Well-
in March if I'm
well,
enrolled in that.
We
stats
are
class, right?
allowing spring or summer coursework to be pending when you turn in your application
Application.
in March
Because of the transition.
because of this transition. Yeah,
Okay,
right.
so I could take my LPN classes, be enrolled for stats for the summer, and still apply this coming March
Correct.
Mhm.
for my LPN.
If you have all your other prereqs. And one clarification I'd like to make. We are offering a choice this upcoming application period. We know some folks have been trying to pursue
I
the
was gonna say
old
that.
requirements. So if you have the old requirements done, we will be accepting those for March. But every year after this one, we'll be looking at the new requirements. So this March, you can either complete the old requirements or the new requirements, but every March after this one, it will be the new requirements for the RN.
So I
And it
have,
has to be all or none. You
Mhm.
can't do, ooh, I like that I don't have to take chemistry, so I want that one. I like that I don't have to take both psych and soc, but I don't like stats.
On this
So I'm gonna
paper-
take 123, but I'm not gonna take this.
So on this paper right here that you guys sent us, as long as I have everything done up here, I met my new requirements, right?
If you go off of the
She
new
can apply.
catalog.
And then I can look through this and say, well, I already took that in this class, I already took
So then
sociology, I
basically
already
you'd only be
took.
taking 12 credits instead of 14, or 9 credits instead of
Okay.
14 that semester. So it'll be kind of a full part-time program.
And can I jump in with one more thing? So if I decide to go with my LPN starting in January, which is what I'm accepted for, do we still, if we apply and we're rolling into this RN program, do we have to test for the LPN and do we have to work so long as an LPN before
I will
we're?
answer all those questions. if
Okay.
you give me a minute. Okay.
Well, we're right there, how many, you have 10 in this graduating class, right? This
That are
LPN?
graduate, like you guys.
That are starting in January.
I just
Yes.
need to know how many I'll be behind if I choose not to.
You have 10, but the ones prior to you have 20.
Right, so, okay, so this is where I'm at on the bubble. Jared knows where I'm at on this, but I wanna know what you'll do. Okay, I think I'm kind of at the
I'd rather
bottom.
hide, because that's what I'm doing right now.
You what?
I'm in the closet. I'm in the
On
closet.
your hair.
And when I'm in the ER, nobody asks me questions. Because I work in the ERs.
Oh, do you?
That's right.
Okay, I think I'm kind of at the bottom date-wise of us, or in the middle, let's say even if I'm at the top of us.
You're 70 behind.
Well, I know, but just us is where I'm at, because all this LPN is gonna do for me is either move me to the bottom of one or the top of two.
It
Because
does more
we're
than
the
that.
last ones.
It does more than that. Let me finish this, and let me see if I get to your question, then if not, you ask me it still.
Okay,
Does that work? Does that work?
yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
So you guys asked, what's my likelihood of getting into the program? Okay, these are your questions too, okay. So, right now on the waiting list, we have 50 that are tier 1. That's if they all are. Okay? Then you have at least, well, you have some prior to that, but you have at least 20 that are graduating before you, actually 20.
In December.
9. You have 20 just in December, and then you have another class prior to that. So you have 20 to 30 before that. So if they all were to stay and were to do it, you have at least 70 to 80 that have seniority priority over everyone of you guys. Does that make sense?
as of right now.
Yes, as of right now, if I snap the picture and go ching ching, that's how many students you have that are ahead of you on a good note. Okay, so if they all were to come in and everybody gets to get accepted, okay, I can only take 40, then you're looking spring of 2018. But you guys all know that there's a handful of people that are gonna make life changes, and they're not gonna be here.
Or they'll
Or
start
they're
to
not
say,
gonna want
I
it,
don't
or they
want
went
to
through a program, and they didn't like the instructors, so they're not gonna stay anymore. Blah, blah, blah.
So I have, in my position right now, I have prereqs number, they're all done, both for RN and LPN. So if I decide to jump and be like, I don't want to do LPN, would I jump to the bottom of tier 1?
No, you'll stay tier 2.
Just tell, so I'm still kind of,
You'll stay tier 2. So, go ahead.
And, does it change, sorry, I'm still trying to get a hold of all this stuff. Do we have to apply in March?
and that, to bump us up on the tier?
The application in March, you have to do if you want to get into any program that's going to be fall of 2016 or spring of 2017. We accept students in those for that year, for the application that can.
And then if
in
they
March.
don't get accepted into the spring and fall of that year, they're first on the list for the next semester?
During transition only.
Right.
During transition only. Eventually, the waiting list will go bye-bye. We will no longer have a waiting list.
And then how will you do it?
So we're honoring, I'll get to that.
Oh,
too.
okay.
We're honoring those of you who have put your time here and kept waiting, been on that, I'm waiting. We are giving you priority, okay, during the transition, okay? Jared was talking about this right here. This was the next slide that he brought up. So tier 1, old and new catalog. Tier 2, which is you guys, okay? The older the new catalog for students who applied to the professional program by March of 2016. Okay, older and new. It's going to be new catalog for all other applicants after March of 2016.
So even
We
if,
may have to fix that.
so our
And did you
chances
mention
of
the T's
getting in
requirement?
are-
The T's requirement.
I will. Okay, let me show you this one right here. Okay, so here's the selection process that we were talking about. So seniority status, okay, seniority status will be honored only through the transition process, but no longer acknowledged in the new program selection process. Okay, so in order to get in, you guys have to right now be meeting the minimum requirements. Okay, which you're prereqs, but you also have to have these. So if you guys wanna apply to the new program, you have to have this. You have to have a minimum of a 62 on your T's. So I don't know what your T's are, but you have to have a 62 T's. You have to have a B, a 3.0, and at least Bio 227 and 227L, that A&P course. And you have to have at least a 2.5 GPA.
So just jump and shift and change it.
Okay? What's that?
Oh, I was just, so it's just like, we're not being grandfathered into our catalog.
So if we stick with the program and
You
This is
automatically
just
get a
changing
move up.
no
jump,
matter what.
we bypass the B.
For us.
but then.
No, but here's the
Okay,
key.
so I won't have to.
Anybody who has an LPN license, bypasses these requirements.
For just this application process,
That's the program.
So in,
always.
That's how, those who have gotten an LPN should have some type of, I don't know what you want me to call it, politically correct, it's probably wrong for me to say this, but they should get a pat on their back for doing a heck of a lot of work.
For taking that step.
Okay, so that's why that's been placed in there.
So how many, this is my question, another question. How many people do you suppose that is gonna slow down?
What do you mean?
Well, with the new minimum requirements.
Well, it doesn't
because
matter
I
whether
think-
it's slowing down or not, it's just it's a minimum requirement.
I know, it's a minimum requirement, and that's gonna affect a lot of people, or some people.
Well, it's not affecting, we still have an avenue, we still have a
thing
backdoor
is-
avenue for every one of those who can't meet that.
If you
And that's to
haven't
get their
gotten your
LPN
LPN,
license.
this is just people that have to take those prereqs, they have to get that
Right.
right now. If they're
But if
just
you-
starting school today,
So
that's the
you're
requirements
also-
they're gonna
We're in
have
that
to take.
category right now, so
No,
if
right.
I don't do LPN, I'm in that
You're in that
category.
category.
Correct.
Which is fine, I meet all those requirements. I'm just wondering, you know what I mean, would that,
How many will that knock
statistics,
out?
yeah, is that gonna knock out a few people for a
Well,
while?
it may
helps me
not.
in the
It
application process.
may not, but this will.
Well, and Yvonne, what you're probably asking, it's not gonna knock out anybody in the list in front of you.
Above me.
You're right.
Okay,
No.
all right.
No.
Thank you. You understand.
Yeah,
And so you have to, you're going to have to
they're
have
already good.
those minimum requirements if you wanna do it. And if you can't meet those minimum requirements right now, then this is what's going to help you. Okay? That will help you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna clear it up here. So based on the people you're already looking at, fall of next year, when you begin the program, and spring of the following year are already full. Because
they
you
have
already
not been
have,
picked.
well, I mean,
But we have a
but
waiting
because
list
of
that
that,
would fill those doors.
but because of that, I mean, if you just look at it that way, you're really not out anything by just doing the LPN, other than you get to bypass those. It would be better just to take the LPN right now.
Correct. Yes, if that works for you and your family
Yeah.
and your financial status. Our LPN program, we figured it out, was $4,500.
Your professional.
Yes, that's
The
correct, for the
professional
professional
piece.
portion.
You're not gonna find that at very many programs. It's not, you know, I know it's money. If there's one thing that I truly believe is okay to go into debt for, is wise education. Not to be one of those college students that can't decide on a major for 5 years and waste all their money, but is wise education. And that $4,500 is only going to help you, even if you get into the RN program later as an LPN. You'll just be that much, it'll make it that much easier for you in the RN program because you have that baseline knowledge.
And we have about a 98% placement rate, and LPNs are starting anywhere between $14 to $18 an hour right now, and there is a demand in the community. So it's not just a waste.
See, and I keep hearing that they're weeding them out.
We hear it, but then it changes when they need them, they want them back.
3 minutes, Devon.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay. And the
It'll
whole
always-
rumor
It'll always go
about,
up and
the
down.
whole rumor
Right now
about the
it's okay.
LPNs, okay? No, they're not going away. Okay? Especially not around our area. Like she said, we have
Okay, Yvonne.
a 98% placement rate. I have had in the last week, probably 3 emails and 4 texts from people that I know that are directors of some subset. Please give me an LPN. Do you have any LPNs? Okay, I get them all the time.
Does an LPN make us uneligible for what we're doing now?
What do you mean?
Like, I am a CNA in Women's Center, which is where I want to be when I'm done with my RN, so I have my foot in the door there. So I'm nervous if I do my LPN,
That's something you're gonna have to talk to about your job.
Okay.
That's
It's
a job
completely
question for you.
employer driven that way.
Yeah, but I will tell you that the only way that, with them going away, yes, they are moving away from utilizing LPNs in high acute care centers. So like ERMAC, we are pushing them out. Yes, they're required to get their RN now. There's only 2 floors on the floor anymore that will use them. Madison still, at one time, wasn't hiring any of them. They did this last year.
This last summer, they came and recruited
Mountain
4. They
View.
even came to the class and said, please.
Mountain View utilizes them, but not near as much. Home health utilizes them all the time. Hospice, all the time. Long-term care, all the time.
All the
Doctor's
urgent care,
offices,
community
all the
cares.
time.
And Mountain View does have 62 employees
Right.
there.
And so they are still being utilized, you know, at different things. And it's really based upon feast or famine. I could see ERMAC, probably get in trouble for saying this, but if they had a shortage enough and they needed it, even though they said it, they're probably gonna hire an LPN. The only way they're not going to is if they reach a certain status, like magnet status, like they have in Treasure Valley, then you cannot have LPNs. It's against hospital policy to have an LPN in a magnet status hospital. So like Treasure Valley, no longer, Boise, that area, they no longer have any LPNs over there. They've gotten rid of all their LPN programs because they're all magnet status. We are not there. Even if ERMAC gets magnet status, you have other hospitals that will not.
And tons of doctors.
And a ton of doctor's offices, long-term care, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let me, hold your questions, write them down if it's killing you. And then I'm gonna turn the time over to Vaughn so he can do what he needs to do and then we'll carry on, okay?
Comes your back.
That was very nice. Turn the time over to me so I can do what I need to do and get to that stuff.
I know you aren't retired.
He's not retired yet, guys, but.
Not retired yet.
Before he retires.
32 days, a few hours, probably less than 6.
Nicely done.
Oh, I keep counting it down too.
Think when we pass that around, here, I'll start when I start. I have in here a sample of scrubs that you need to try on, because in the past, we've had students say, I wear a medium, come in, they order a medium, they come in, and then they come back to me, or whoever's going to be here in my place. They come back and say, these don't fit, and I get a large, cost extra money. We're trying to keep the money down to you, so please, if you don't know for sure what size you are, please try them on, and we'll get you taken care of. we'll get them ordered. For the men, the tops are, they're unisex tops, okay? The bottoms, you might wanna check places for pants that you might like instead of,
You can use black scrub pants.
instead of this. This is your color, LPN, right?
This is LP, and they're actually, yeah, tan, yeah.
This is your color, right here, beautiful, beautiful color.
Yay, tan, just my color.
So, enjoy that for the next 18, 20 minutes, whatever you got. Okay, I have the forms here, you can fill them out if you know what size, if you don't, please try them on and we'll get you taken care of.
And then,
Which are they?
They are about $16 for the top and about, $16 for the bottoms, which I did not bring over for you to try on, and about $21 for the tops. Price did go up occasionally.
okay.
Heard me tell you, LP, or the RNs last week were $17.
And then if you're an alternate, do fill the thing out, but put on there that you're an alternate and turn it into me, not to Devon. Because then if we end up calling you, then we'll hand it into Devon.
When do we pay this?
When you pick them up, is what you've been doing, they can pay.
You can pay for them when you pick them up.
And that's about 4 weeks, right?
Yeah, it'd be 3 or 4 weeks.
So
I
when
will
do
order
you-
them today.
You want to order today?
Well, you got somebody that's not here?
There's a few that are on the border wanting to make sure that this is what they're doing. And so, is there any way we can have it by maybe a few days or something like that? You can have those that are sure, turn them in today, but there's a few on the bubble.
32 days. Yeah.
Is it?
Would it be okay, like, say Thursday or
I
something
would,
like that?
I would say that I have to order by Monday to get this thing
Next
in
Monday.
before I leave.
Okay, so we'll make sure we have everything in.
My issue with this is, I want to leave
Yeah, I know.
whoever with everything caught up.
Right.
This will be one of those things that'll be not quite caught up if I wait much longer. But yeah, I can wait.
Okay, we'll just get them, because there's some that are deciding.
We'll try to get them all answered for you.
You can have them come in before Monday.
And so we have alternates in here, so if anybody decides not to, we have something to fill right in. Now, you just want to anticipate that you will be here Monday through Thursday a lot of the time. And that means that you have to wear your uniform Monday through Thursday. So just, one is not enough. Depends on how you like to do things, but I would recommend a minimum
Just be
of
mindful
2.
of from the supervisor.
And more if you don't have washing available. Because we do want you to be clean and not stinky. And
Your classmates will probably appreciate that.
And you don't, after you've been at a hospital clinical, you should always wash your scrubs, never wear the same scrubs again. I mean, something wash. I mean, you can wear it after some wash, but not just keep wearing the same thing over and over again. So do keep that in mind.
That's what I've been doing wrong.
Your scrub bottoms you can buy wherever you want, or we have them. And that's not such a big thing, it's just that we broke the top, so we have to have
You
it.
don't want to type.
We're going over all what we're gonna need for clinicals and all that in a minute for Elvia.
Yeah.
We'll get there and just be lots more questions about that.
It's kind of the same as what you talked about in March when we had that meeting, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Pretty much
It's
the
essentially the
same thing.
And please make sure when you buy scrubs, a couple of things. First of all, no crackage, okay? So make sure that you have a shirt that you put underneath it that is long enough to cover up both crackage areas, okay? Second of all, make sure that your pants are not so long that they're dragging on the ground and getting holes on the bottom of your scrubs, because your clinical sites actually get very annoyed with that, because they get really dirty. So make sure that if you're one that has short legs, I've never experienced that, but if you have shorter legs and you need to hem them, or you need to do something like that, pin them up, whatever, but just make sure that you do that as well.
So are the pant sizes pretty sure the same?
If you want pants, you can actually come over to the bookstore.
Bookstore and try those on, or you
I
can
don't
get.
carry them over because I'm only one person.
Yeah, but you can buy black scrubs anywhere you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could just get one pair of those.
There's no large?
Yeah, it doesn't have to stick around, you have to
Or
order
here,
it.
I have.
It's the one that.
And I've heard that Wally World and Target,
So, yeah, you can pick those out, these are pretty good.
yeah, all those places have very cheap things. Wally
Yeah.
World,
Oh, yeah, they're like
Target.
Walmart has very inexpensive black. They're
The
not
only
like,
reason I'm doing this is because I get this stuff embroidered.
Yeah, it's embroidered, we don't have to have the pants embroidered, so.
Oh,
do
okay.
people usually like order two?
I would
Most
give a
people
minimum
have
of
at
two.
least two.
Minimum of two, some, you know,
Some like 3. If you're one that can't get to your laundry only once a week, you know. If you can get to your laundry.
If you can't get to your laundry once a week, have your husband or boyfriend do it. What the heck?
What if you don't have either?
Yeah, that's the problem.
I don't have
Call your
a.
mom.
We'll live together.
Okay, sounds good. Do each other's laundry. I have 3 other kids to
Are
do
there any
laundry.
other
I'm
questions
usually
about
the
it?
last.
About the bookstore that you need answered, because I don't come in here saying, okay, books are this, this, and this, because I don't know this, this. I know that your books are pretty much all here. If they're not all here, they will be within,
With the one, no longer an alternate.
within 32 days,
And
6 hours, and 15 minutes.
Working on that after this
so,
meeting
when,
today.
you're not gonna like run out for our class, right? Book-wise, do you usually order
We
it
try
on
not
cover every week?
to, we try not to run out, but if we do,
We'll
we
try to
have
give you the best
overnight
information,
freight,
so when
we
it
can
comes
get
down
them
to
here.
it, it's just gonna make the decision.
Cause I don't know.
I still have-
Alfian, I need to share.
But it's actually better to do the LPN, what I've been told from LPNs
I didn't
who
say
go to
that.
the RN.
There's I think there's benefit both ways. I mean, the largest benefit of doing the program is you have all that knowledge, you have it on hand.
Let me warn you a couple of
And then you're a little better prepared when you come back to our, the benefits of not doing it are the time and money, that's an investment you can't really make right now because of your family or life circumstances.
Well, I think in my position right now,
You pay
because I've
for
been at Costco for so long that I've
when you
moved
get
up
it, you're going
Yeah.
to be so confused with that.
more than one alternate.
Right.
And so
That's
it's like,
why they have.
So it's not necessarily a benefit for you to get a job as an LPN or
but
with the money.
that's the question I have.
So if you
I
order
don't
online, make sure you order the
Would I
right
have to
word.
lose
On your website,
Get it to the RN.
you
Well,
have,
basically, right now, as long as
Have
you're
you
interested,
been on
you're at the top
WebAdvisor?
of tier 2. You're at the very top.
Very
okay,
top.
Otherwise,
on
you wouldn't be
WebAdvisor,
listed.
it has the ISBN
So
number,
if you don't go to the bottom of tier 1,
the title of the book, the author.
there's a little bit of
how
room
much
of
it costs
wiggle
on
room there, but
WebAdvisor.
it's not like it's night and day.
But I can apply to the RN
You
March.
can go on
Yeah.
WebAdvisor. you
Right,
get
as long as
the
you have those
ISBN number,
requirements.
you
I
can
do,
go to
yeah,
it.
I've read them.
Right.
Make sure if you order online, you get that right book, because if you get one from UK, you know, you're gonna be in trouble. And it's happened before with students, and they've always come to me crying because they bought the book online and want me to return it, or I'm not returning it, of course, in about 32 days, 18 hours, 6 hours, I don't know what's.
in the LPN, we have a bundle too, that
You do
first
have a
semester
bundle.
that does include,
And your bundle was, I think, $417 for the whole pile. And they put it together that way, so it'd be cheaper for you. Well, I can't remember for sure if that's the price or not.
in
But
the
it's-
ballpark.
It's close to that.
It includes the
And,
masters.
and that's on WebAdvisor right now, it tells you what's on, that bundle and the price, okay? If you buy that bundle, you cannot return just one of those books because you bought one from a friend. Okay, you have to return the whole bundle. So if you buy the bundle and you have one or two of the books, sorry about that.
So bundle or no bundle?
For 32 days, 6 hours and 12 minutes.
On WebAdvisor, does it list the books in the bundle?
No, it does not list it in WebAdvisor, you have to come to the bookstore. Because,
But they can come to the bookstore to find out what's in the bundle?
yes, or you can come to you.
Yeah, or talk to us. Okay.
Any other questions? The scrubs are around $21 for the shirt, $15, $16 for the pants if you're coming, if you feel so inclined to come and buy pants. We have some in stock already. We have this many shirts right now in stock. So if anybody orders a 2XL and a XL, we have one shirt for you of each. The rest of them are RN shirts that we have over. The jackets are not required by your, I put it on there basically because it's required by the dental students, the dental instructor. You do not need to order a jacket for the LPN. If you want one, I'd be more than happy to order it for you, but it's not returnable.
There's a few people that like the jackets, other people wear like a longer shirt underneath.
Right.
Does that have to be a certain color? The shirt?
We like them to be black or white, if you wear underneath.
Black and white.
Yeah.
You mean your jacket or your shirt?
The
The
shirt.
shirt. Yeah, black or white underneath. You
Not-
can't have
not
all
bright
green.
Probably not.
You can.
No
You
more
can. Some
questions,
people
I'm
get
on my
really
way out
cold
of
and
here,
they
if
like
you'll
to
just
have
pass those sheets to
We
the
don't have
end.
tattoos, they need it
All right.
covered up.
Thank you, Devon.
That's what it does.
Thank you, sir.
But not with bright colors like
I
red,
will.
purple.
Could we just have like one color day or something or above? Thank you. We can't have it around.
Fair enough.
No kidding.
She is. Well, I'd rather have the tan than the gray.
Yeah, see that we're turned in, but nobody else.
Okay, do we have?
That's okay, we don't have to wear them now.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a neutral color, please.
Kind of get moving along.
As far as staying with us.
I will decide really quick. She still hasn't answered just a couple of my questions.
She'll bring it over to
You're
you.
going to be one of those.
We decided that the term
Yes.
staying
He just
active
needs to have it.
means that you check
He needs
in
to have
every
it for the end of
semester,
the
saying
week.
you're still interested or
I
you're.
really
Okay, I saw. Yeah, if you didn't have your prereqs done, we could ask that you enroll in at least one prereq each semester, but if you have them all done, we just want some
And I wanna,
Okay.
I would like to, I know I did, but I just wanna make sure. I don't wanna assume that I do.
right, and then find out later.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so excited. This has been such a long lifetime.
So I can talk to Justin about that.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be able to help you out on that one.
Is he here today?
Probably. He's here most days.
So for you guys right now, you have really two avenues as tier two, okay? If right now you've met, right now, as I speak, if you've met these minimum requirements, okay, then, and you wanna put your application in, and your prereqs for the new catalog will be done, okay, completed by the summer, then yes, you're a candidate for application. Okay? That doesn't mean you're going to get into the program. Highly unlikely that you will. Very likely that you will miss this for fall or spring. Yeah. Did I say that correct?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the toughest question you could ask us, simply because we don't know who's actually going to end up applying, right? But the way it looks, there will be wait time for you. So we don't know how much exactly, but there will
I
be wait
just
time.
don't want you guys to get the thought that if I put it in March, I'm gonna get into the iron program. I don't wanna give you false hope.
We'll get in eventually, it's just when we get it, right?
Will we have to reapply every year?
Yes.
So I'm sure this question has already been asked, but if we do the LPN program, does that jump us up to the top of?
On the bottom of tier one.
Okay.
So in other words, let's say you complete our LPN program because you wanted to go ahead and go through. He decides not to,
I'll be above.
you're above him.
That answers my question.
Yep.
So this is the last class we're looking at, about that though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yep.
every year, it's not like they're moving all of the
No,
students ahead of us.
This is just a snapshot. That people right now only get this opportunity.
And we're the last.
After this is all goodbye. Everything will be gone. We can't wait to get out of the church.
And then at that point, we have two discrete programs, right? Students coming into iTech choose one or the other, right?
So if I decide not to do it, then really I'm falling behind the 11 people who are opting to do the LPN, and then I'm right there.
And that's
Correct.
Yes.
So worst case scenario,
It's 10 people.
You're gonna get 10 more people ahead of you.
right, and then you wait another semester or another year.
It would be.
Depends.
Right.
So
Probably-
probably semester.
The program goes every.
So it's 20 a semester.
So we accept all 40 in March.
Yeah, the semester is like, they'll apply in March, but you can only apply in March.
Yes.
Every year.
We only have one packet
And then one
that we do,
but
is in March.
you-
And we accept for the whole year, the next upcoming year.
So the program only starts once a year,
No,
No, it starts twice.
twice a year.
fall and spring.
Fall and spring, so you apply in March.
So 20 in fall, 20 in spring. So
But you have to
40.
apply in March in order
But
to
you have
get
to apply
accepted
in
in spring.
Okay,
If
but
I-
you do accept it twice a year, like
Yeah.
there's
Yes.
two programs as well,
Yes.
2 times.
There's two cohorts.
entry points, but everybody knows in March which one they're doing.
Two
This is-
cohorts.
So if I decide to forego my LPN, because I've met the minimum requirement, and I apply in March, do you place me
And
in
your
a class?
prereqs are done.
And my prereqs are done.
Uh,
Do you place me in a class, even though it might be?
Do I put you in a special class?
Special ed. Some days I need that. Do you place me even if it's a year and a half out? Or do I reapply, if I don't get in that year, then I reapply in March
You're gonna
2017?
reapply again, but your seniority will still maintain.
But my date is.
And then we're still not behind another years of LPNs
Right.
after that.
Correct. And those that have really, really even more specific questions, because I want you to carry on with what you're gonna do today, you're welcome to come and schedule an appointment to meet with either myself or Jared. Okay? Okay, so let me just go through this one. This is with the new selection process, this is what we already talked about, which you guys have already asked. Tier 1, they don't have to meet the new selection process, seniority days only. The graduates, so if you guys complete this program, this is you right here. If you snap right now, that would be you. Okay? If you choose not to, this is you. Okay? This right here is you. This is those of you who have not met the minimum requirements.
So it says seniority
So right
status.
now, let's say I'm just gonna pick on Christy, because I picked on family members the first names. So I'm gonna pick on you. Let's just say right now, she has a tease of,
61.
I'm gonna say, yeah, 61. So you don't have the minimum requirement tease, okay? And you're like, I don't care, I just want my RN, I'm not gonna do my LPN at all. That would be her, would be down here. Okay? And then tier 3 is Joe down the street from, I don't know, just decided to move in Idaho Falls and sign up for a program that's never been licensed. That's tier 3, okay? Off the street.
Are you gonna go over the scoring system?
Yeah. So, this one, one of the key things is in order to maintain your seniority status here, you either have to be in continual enrollment, taking some GE courses, or you have to check in with us at least every semester saying, I am still an active student, I still went in the program. If we don't hear from you that semester, you get kicked off the list. That's how we have to do it. We cannot be letting people just wait and wait. You either are vested in doing our program, or you're not. And if you're not, you can come back in, but you'll be a tier 3.
So if I'm done with all my general ed classes, then I just need to come and check in.
And you need to check in, yeah, once a semester, you need to come and check in and say, I still went in the program, I'm still waiting, I'm planning on applying in March, I still want it, and we just need to know that you're invested, because if you're not, we're not saving you a spot anymore. Okay? And so this rule applies to you, because you're in that tier 2. Others is this scoring system, okay? So if you fall into the scoring system, this is what it's based off of. So you have to meet your minimum requirements or have an LPN license.
How do we fall into the scoring system?
Well,
How do you fall into it?
Yeah.
Those that aren't used off the seniority system. So you guys are gonna be seniority based with minimum requirements.
So this
If
is
they
a
do the,
So this doesn't apply to us?
well, if they don't do the program,
If
I
you
think
don't do
what
the
you-
program, this applies to you.
this would apply to folks who are coming in after you, that's basically it. So as we're going through this transition period, we will be looking at the seniority dates. But this is the scoring-based selection process that we want to implement after we're through the transition period.
So this doesn't apply to us even if
So
we don't?
what they're-
Only if you disappear for a year and come back later.
Well, they're stating, does this,
Well, they
Maybe
would
we
be,
need to clarify.
if they don't say,
If they don't
do
stay in the LPN
program,
program.
then they most likely won't, they can apply, but they're most likely won't get in this March.
No, but
So
they'd still
therefore, they
be,
would apply the next March.
they'd still be in tier 2 though.
Right.
So which is part of that transition process, and which is not subject to the
And
scoring
so, yeah, we don't have to do
system,
a scoring system,
other than the
right?
minimums, right? You do need to meet the minimums.
Those.
So when you ask me how do we get ahead of anybody with the scoring system, this is, the minimum requirements are just this, but this is how it is. So your GPA will take into effect, your T-score will take into effect, your written essay will take into effect, and then the other. So this,
it doesn't affect us.
I'm going to right now, I need to pause the video and Jared and I need to have a little powwow because I think we're on two separate pages.
Okay.
All of a sudden, not a powwow, just a nice discussion, so I don't confuse you. But you guys, if you don't stay in the LPN program, you do have to initiate the scoring process.
And I,
No, because they're seniorities.
because they're on the
Okay.
transition, yeah.
Okay. So
Is that-
off of the transition, this will be the scoring system, so you guys don't need to worry about it.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So even if we decide not to do the LPN and just to wait to get into the RN, our seniority date stays from a year
So
ago.
let's say,
where
the
I-
only way this would apply to you guys is like Jared was saying, let's just say all of a sudden, you
I don't
fell off the
contact
face
you.
of the earth, yeah, then you're gonna be like then you're basically tier 3, then you'd have to meet this one, because you don't have your LPN
Right.
license. Now let's say you go through our program, you get your LPN, you get a good job, you like your job, you love it, things are good. A year and a half or 2 years from now, you decide, I wanna go back and get my RN, and you have your LPN license. Then you're here, okay? So now you're gonna be here. You've bypassed the minimum requirements because you have an LPN license already. Because you have an LPN license, you're gonna step ahead of everybody who doesn't. Because automatically in your scoring system, you have 100 points for your T's. That's the highest you can get. Nobody in here has 100 T's. I would hate to take the T's because I don't know what my scores. But I'm just saying that LPN license bumps you up. I've seen an 80 T's, right?
Or the highest, yeah.
I think the highest I've seen is an 80 some T's, okay? So even the highest, you're 20 points higher than that person already applying because you got your LPN license. Okay, so that's what I'm saying, we're giving a priority to those who receive a license. And then you have to do an essay based upon a grading rubric that will do. I like to know that people can write and they don't say LOL, smiley face, hashtag. You have to know how to write to get into nursing school. I've seen it. I return them back to you, so don't turn in hashtag or LOL, smiley face, funny. No. TTYL. No, we're not texting our papers. Okay, so, and then your overall GPA will receive points. Also, you get additional points if you're an iTech alumni. And then if you have current practice, you get another additional point, 5 additional points. So your max is 300, but you could have extra credit based upon being an alumni or based upon additional practice.
This is if you go away.
Okay. If you go away and come back with an LPN license. Okay? The other thing that we're allowing the LPNs to do with their license into this new course is that they can challenge our fundamentals class if they have their LPN license, which is 6 credits. But in order to challenge the course, they have to take a comprehensive exam up front. They have to pay a fee, the $100 fee that they have to do. They have to take the LPN ATI fundamentals test up front with it, and they have to score a level 2. If they can't score a level 2, you can't challenge it. If they score a level 2, then they're gonna have to do a skills validation to show me that you can do a head-to-toe assessment, that you can NG, you can do a fully. So if you guys complete the program, the LPN program, okay? And then you turn around and you're staying in it, and you get bumped up to tier 1, and so spring of 2017, you're my next group in there. Let's just say that's where you end up getting placed. If you guys want to challenge that fundamentals class, you can, because you have your LPN license. The only way you'll be able to do it, though, successfully, we've had a lot come in, well, I just took the class and it's almost the same, can't you just write it off? It's almost the exact same class, other than has a different syllabus. No, we can't, because I wish I could tell you that every LPN that graduates remembers every vital piece of information we teach them, but they don't. Most of them forget 2 weeks later. Because of that.
We can't take you back into the hospital if you don't know the
Right.
fundamentals.
So because of that, you have to show competency, not only just hands-on competency that you can show me you can put a Foley in, but you can tell me all the reasons why you're doing what you're doing, which is why you take the competency test first. So you take the competency test, you do a validation, you come in, set up the lab, you pay your fee, we say, this is what you have to do, and you have to do it flawless, you're good, you challenge the course, you're out, 6 credits. Worst case scenario, you don't wanna pay the fee, you don't mind learning a little bit of extra, refreshing up on your skills, or you didn't successfully do this, you take the class again, it's a refresher course for you, it's 6 credits, yes, but you fly through it, it's super easy, you move on to next semester. It's still, regardless, if this new program I developed is the same as the old program. It's four semesters, our other one's 3 semesters in the summer. One was 61 credits, this new program is 70 credits. And that was an LPN to RN. So, in other words, I'm saying don't whine to me about this one class.
We've already heard a lot of whining, and we're tired of the whining on this one.
So-
It's the way it is.
It's an unofficial rule of nursing school, is no whining.
Okay.
you know.
Okay, so I have a question about that. So I do the LPN, and then at the end of LPN, I have to do all the testing and stuff, or I'm still right back, if I don't pass the LPN, then I'm right back where I started anyway, right?
If you don't,
To
if
get
you're not
into the RN
successful for your
program.
NCLEX, if you're not successful on your NCLEX, then yes, you would come in as a off the street student.
Okay.
So just be successful.
How often does
Oh,
that
yeah.
happen?
We have especially in our LPN, we have a 96% pass rate on our NCLEX
Well,
boards.
we don't have the official results for this
For this
last
last
semester.
semester,
There's
we're
3
prior to
students
that.
I don't know about yet for this last semester. I know one hasn't taken, I haven't heard from the other 2.
But we've had high placements,
But I mean,
high pass rates.
Tara and I only know 2 students, and since we've been here.
I haven't passed on.
And how many wash
the
out way
LPNs.
before that?
And you guys have been.
I mean, they start the program, how many
But,
are
you know, like I
washing
said,
out?
anything, some certain groups should sometimes have to like.
1 to 2
This
groups.
group,
I wouldn't do that.
Our current, I'm still waiting on
1 to 2 groups.
one
For
to take
multiple
it, get down the issues that Kevin's taking. I have 2, I haven't gotten a hold of yet. Find out. Sometimes I'll have people that will wait like 9 months, even though I say, take the test.
I had to do that with my seniors.
Sometimes they'll just wait forever, and then
So
we're
the
just on
grades
holding,
in our
wondering, well, we wonder what we
program
passed.
affect where we're gonna bypass the.
You don't actually get the
scoring
reports from the board, but we have our ways of.
It would only
unofficially
affect us if
telling
you decide to
the
come
board
back.
report.
Okay.
Because they see them on the registry. I mean, they
Well-
look in registry.
Okay, can I help? Okay, any further questions or what things on with this, but we need to get rolling with you. Okay? Okay, you're on board. I'm out of here.
All right, I just want to introduce you to Brett Maxfield. He will be pharmacology teacher. So if you just want to take a couple minutes, you want to come up here, so we can get you out of here.
All right, well, welcome you guys. Mrs. George said my name is Brett Maxfield. I know this one of you already. So, Kelvin, yeah, look forward to working with you. I am the kind of de facto pharmacology instructor now. So I'm a nurse anesthetist, that's my background. This will be your book, so I don't know if you've gotten it yet or not. Pretty straightforward. This year we're gonna do a really good job focusing specifically, or this semester I should say. All the information is gonna be LPN specific, so we're able to find a pretty good book that's LPN specific. Mrs. George asked me to kind of let you guys know your first assignment is already ready to roll, so when you get your book, you want to get ready before you come to class, it's all set. I'll pass this around, you guys take a quick look at it, I'll just open up the units for you. I know probably in the past, you know, going through school and your previous experiences, you've gone chapter by chapter. This is a little different, we're gonna do units, because the units cover all the different drugs, and each chapter's kind of over each drug. So each week, you can plan on somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 pages of reading from this, okay? Sounds like a lot of reading, but if you break that down, that's only studying 5 days a week, 10 pages a day, okay? 15, 20 minutes, you can do that every day. You'll have a great mastery of this stuff, so not too bad there. Pass this around, start this down here with you. Just looking down, Unit 1, the first one in the top left-hand corner, that's your first assignment, just that, okay? Unit 1, first week's assignment. So, other than that, pharmacology is pretty straightforward, okay? It's a lot of just learning what the drug is, what it does. I've got about 15 years of experience in nursing and then in anesthesia. And so I've gotten to play with a whole lot of drugs and have a bunch of fun stories for you, so I kind of like to do it that way. Do you guys have any questions about the pharmacology class at all?
They'll post the stuff on the Blackboard.
Yep, so Blackboard, the way that I do things on Blackboard, just so you kind of know how my teaching style is, you'll have a test about every other week. So just because that tends to make it a little bit easier so that you've got enough tests that they don't hit you as hard if you do really bad on one for some reason, but few enough that you don't feel overwhelmed like you get a test every single week you have to study for. That's kind of my take. Even though it's been about 15 years since I was in school, I still have the PTSD from being in school, so I'm still okay. So, let's see. What was I going to tell you? As far as assignments go, really you're going to have your reading assignments. Each week, your weekly content will come up on Blackboard, so that'll have whatever your assignment is for that week, what the reading assignment is. That's where you'll see announcements. That's where you'll see things about what tests are coming out, when they open and close. Typically, let's see, this class will be on Wednesdays.
Yes.
Is that right?
No,
No, Tuesdays.
Tuesdays? Okay.
Tuesdays from 2 to 4:50.
So your tests will open up Tuesday after class and be open until the following Tuesday after class. Typically I do that for one full week. That way if you're working or anything like that, or you go to other exams, it makes it a little easier to work around it. So,
So like when you say unit 1, just read it in the questions?
Yep, no questions. So I will do a quiz in class. The quiz in class is designed to help you, not to penalize you. I hate busy work, mostly because I hate creating busy work, so you don't get a whole lot of busy work from me, okay, I'll be totally honest with you. If I'm doing something in class, it's with the intent of helping you guys learn it and grow with it. And so, like, I'll put a note on there that says, you know, read unit 1, do the practice questions at the end. I'm not gonna collect your practice questions if you don't do them. The only way that I'm gonna know is if, you know, I'll say something like, we'll do a quiz every day in class, and lots of times your questions on that quiz come directly from those questions. So if you've already done them, you now have the answers in the back of the book, and congratulations, you get the answer before you ever take the quiz. So typically about a third to a half of my questions on my quizzes come from the questions at the end of each chapter. So if not, oftentimes I'll throw in a question like, did you read your chapters? Yes or no? Okay. If you answer yes, because it's true, then congratulations, you just got that point. So, pretty straightforward that way. We'll have some assignments. Did you guys talk about ATI already?
No.
Okay. You'll find out more about ATI. ATI is an online learning thing. There will be some learning modules online with that. There will be assignments. Those will be kind of spread throughout the semester. To be honest, this will be my first time teaching the LPN pharmacology class, so I'm kind of working on your curriculum as we speak. So that's about that. But anyway, should be pretty fun. Any questions? Any other questions about that? That's a good question.
We have a month, so besides just working on unit 1, just reviewing drugs and names and.
And I wouldn't even. My class is kind of your no stress introductory class. Okay, I'm pretty laid back.
Well, there's still some stress.
There's still some stress. Okay.
You still need to pass the ATI.
Yep, as long as you pass the ATI
exam
at the end.
end.
So that's the big thing. As long as you stay on top of things all semester long, I'll give you ATI reading assignments. As long as you stay on top of your ATI reading assignments, you should do just fine. So really everything should be pretty straightforward. I'm not one of those that likes to set you up to fail. With me, I'm pretty straightforward. So what you see is what you get, and what's on the paper is what you're expected to do. So that's pretty much how that goes. Yeah. So anyway, simplicity. Any other questions? Okay, cool. Look forward to seeing you guys in a month. Thanks.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so your schedule coming up. Maybe I'll put it on the board. My PowerPoint actually disappeared this morning, but I know where to go. You'll have 8, I don't have a good. And then 10 to 12. So this will be the same Monday and Tuesday. This will be here, this will be here. And this is your fundamentals class. And so for fundamentals, you'll be in the classroom. This is lab time, this is classroom. And fundamentals starts with fun, so we'll call it fun. Fundamentals. So what you'll do is you'll come and you'll have class, and there'll be a test associated with it, and then you'll go practice things in the lab. And in the lab, you will be required to do a certain amount of skills pass-offs. A lot of those things that you saw on Tara's slide with NGs, Foley's, medication pass-off, those will all be pass-offs. And so usually you'll practice quite a bit in the lab, and you'll do peer pass-offs where a peer watches you, and then you'll have to pass with an instructor pass-off. And so those are required to pass. And usually if you don't pass it the first time, then you'll get a second attempt, to do that as well. So you'll be really busy here doing all those fun things. Okay, and then on Tuesdays, then you'll add his pharmacology class in. And you'll have to have a lunch break because you'll not survive if you don't get lunch. So it'll be from 2 to 4:50. This will be far. Okay, so that one will be thrown on there. Okay, then your Wednesdays, we will start clinical on Wednesdays. This is a clinical time. Now, we can't really send you to clinical before you know something. So we don't start till partway through the semester. So you won't start the first month, at least, of the semester. Sometimes it's somewhere between the 4th and the 8th week that we start clinical for you. And so, depending on which location you're at, we're looking at doing, for you guys, we're looking at doing Mountain View, Madison. And you may only do one facility, you may get a combination of facilities. It's still to be determined. And so you'll just have to know if you get Madison Memorial, they start, you have to be there by 5:45. You know, I believe Mountain View's actually a 6 a.m. start time too. Ermath was 7, so we can have you come in a little bit differently. So when you do clinical rotation, you have to be there. And so we usually do, like, say, there are at least 8 to 9 hour shifts that you're going to be there at the hospital. And so it's really difficult to make those up. And so what we really need you to do is like have a backup babysitter, things like that, that you can if it's coming to kids, because they're very difficult to make up. And so, and it comes down to the point where we don't have a way to make them up, then you have to pay somebody, an adjunct instructor, to go to the hospital with you to make that up. So that's the thing. We also do simulations, which will be on this day too. Now for simulations, we have you meet in the lab, and we have these special simulator mannequins that are computer controlled. They breathe, they talk, and things. You know, we kind of through a headset, they talk. And so then we run a group of you through a scenario on how to take care of a patient. So what we've been doing in the past is we did some before the hospital experience. We could change things around, but you'll have some simulations. And so simulations, a group of 3 or 4 of you, you'll come as kind of half the class will come in the morning, potentially from 8 to 10, 8 to 12, and then we'll rotate a group through the simulation while the others are staying here working on a case study. That's one way. Sometimes we'll have ongoing simulations where you'll be watching the other group do the simulation, and then we keep the simulation going that way. So during simulation, you have to talk to the patient like they're a real patient. You say the wrong thing, the patient reacts. I mean, you tell them they're gonna, you know, they have cancer, the patient's gonna freak out. You know, that really isn't something the nurse should be telling the patient anyway. But depending on how you react, we can do some psychosocial, like in the past we've had bad news from a family member, see what you'll do. Some people do the right thing and other people do some things, and the mannequin just reacts. You know, on all medications, we like you to check allergies. If you don't check an allergy, your patient will probably have an allergic reaction. It's just, but if you catch the allergies, you do things appropriately, sometimes it's pretty boring. But a lot of times, depending on what you do, the patient will react. So it kind of just gives you a chance to practice skills in a different setting. We can watch you do your skills. So you may learn them here, but in clinical and simulation, we see you put them to practice. Now, one problem we've had is that you learn the skill and pass it off, and then I have you in simulation, like I say, 2 weeks later, all of a sudden your sterile technique has gone to pot. You know, so we have to keep reinforcing it over and over again, trying to drill it in how to do certain things. But a lot of times we have one mannequin that when you get to your OB class, a pediatric class, it actually delivers babies. Her name's Noelle.
Wow.
And so we have a baby mannequin that actually breathes and cries. And so there is that. And then we have our Mediman mannequin that, you know, is kind of a big looking guy. Sometimes we put a wig on him, but he still kind of looks like a guy, no matter what we do. So we do have that going on as well. So you can do a couple of simulations, you'll have clinical. You'll probably be looking at least this first semester a minimum of 8 times, either with simulation, 2 simulations, 6, you know, at least 6 clinical days minimum. You know, and it could vary just a little bit, you know, as we're getting the schedules put out. We'll have everything put out the beginning of the semester. You can even before the end of the semester, we're hoping to have it, and sometimes we can even post that ahead of time for you to see.
So we won't always have anything, we won't always.
Not, especially the first little
Wednesday.
while, the first
So
little
if you
while.
were
This is-
working Wednesdays, you could, and your boss was like, you could be flexible with.
You can
the
have some
schedule.
flexibilities on the Wednesdays, but we'll try to get you the schedule so you'll see the schedule.
Okay.
And so you can know, what days are scheduled. But initially, the first month, you're not looking at stuff on that first Wednesday.
Okay, and then when would you guys have those schedules? That, when we start ours, when we start.
You'll for sure have it. Hopefully, we can put something out maybe even by the end of this semester.
Okay.
So before Christmas break.
Okay.
And especially if you have some kind of job, you can call in and check, but we'll try to have something out for you.
Okay.
So we'll look for that on that. So that means you have to have transportation, depending on where you live, to get to Madison or Mountain View. It may be, we may use Ermac, we may not at this point, so you'll just have to be there. And so just for clinical and simulation, and then Thursday, right, we have 8:30 to noon, 11:50. This is Med-Surg. There's a slight chance that this time could change, but we'll let you know ASAP if it does change. The only place it could change to would be here, but we're just having a few changes that are going on. So this is where it's currently scheduled. Just know this class, there's a slight chance it could change times. Now we have one other class that we kind of put up to Friday, but it's an online one. It's HCT 125. It's an online nutrition class, so you can really do the assignments anytime. I just kind of set it out so you can kind of see it. And so that's an online class. Now, in addition to this, as he talked about, he does his test every other week. Well, what we do is we use, all the teachers are using the the computer testing center that we have just around the corner from here, and you take all your tests on the computer. Because when you take your boards, your NCLEX test, it's a computerized test. Now we just have you in the mode of just all this computerized testing. And so these are the hours, and this is something that you need to be aware of. Now for nursing students only, they have a Saturday time of 9 to 1. That's not listed there because it's only for the nursing students, and we don't want
Super
other-
secret.
It's super secret, but nursing students can come to that, but we're not putting it on the cards, but nursing students can come on Saturdays. So in addition to your times here, you have to think that in fundamentals, you'll be having tests at least every 1 to 2 weeks. Pharmacology, you'll be having tests, he said every 2 weeks. Med-Surg is a big class because it's all your basic disorders for all your adults. It covers every body system going through diseases and nursing interventions. And so it's a big one, and so in the past, it's been at least 11 or 12 tests in the semester. So you are looking at sometimes you have tests in all classes in the same week, other times just 2, sometimes only 1. I can't tell you how they'll line up, because it all depends on the topics and things that people have. And so therefore, if we're doing respiratory, it's longer, so that goes a little longer. Other units are shorter, and then we test you on those. And generally, even though you may think that's a lot of tests, the students typically prefer to take tests on not as much topic, Like if it's only 2 or 3 chapters, they like it a little bit better, or 4 versus 6 or 8. So anyway, so we will be having that kind of testing that you need to be aware of. Now at our testing center, you have to bring ID with you to go in there. They are really watching to try to keep any cheating from happening, so you can't wear hoodies and things like that. And they have a list of rules that you'll follow. And then they also hand out the last test 1 hour before closing time. So if you come there couple minutes late, they won't let you have the test. And so typically the teachers will have their tests open at least, anywhere between 3 to 5 days. And so sometime in that 3 to 5 days, you have to find a time to take the test. So that is something to keep in mind when you look at this. Now our next semester we'll be doing mental health nursing. We'll be doing a second part of Med-Surg, medical surgical. We use this book right here. And we use half of the book for the first semester and half of the book for the second semester. So when you buy the Med-Surg book, it's good for both semesters here. And so you'll have that, I can't remember where I was going with that, but anyway, we'll go on. So you will have that one, and in the bundle, it contains the Med-Surg book, which is right here, this is the current edition. And we do like to have the current editions, because we base all of our stuff off of these editions, and if you have the other editions, it's up to you to try to figure out what's going on. We're not gonna put out multiple syllabuses covering all those different pages. Now this is the fundamentals of nursing, and so it's 2 books. One's kind of more for the lab, one's more for the class, and it's a lot. They're heavy. That's why you see so many nursing students pulling carts behind them.
Rolling backpack.
Rolling backpacks, because these books are heavy. So these are core ones right here, and then he already showed you the pharmacology book, and so these are your big books for the semester. In addition, in the bundle, there's like a little pharmacology book that's really good to take to clinical with you to look up drugs. There's a lab book as well. Some of the classes have workbooks that go with them, you know, that kind of give you additional practice questions and things. So those are the kind of the ones that you're looking at. We've only used this one semester, so there's not too many used ones out there. This one just switched to a new edition last semester. So the students that started in August are the first ones to use this edition. So sometimes we get going and there's a whole bunch of old books, but these are all newer books. But they've been out at least probably a year maybe. So there's still maybe some out there. You never know, you can always check with students. Well, the ones that are continuing will still need their book. So you never know, online is a good resource. The library has them all there. One more thing on clinical, you already have your uniforms. And if you can get, I guess what we need to have you decide, we need you to decide this week, if at all possible, is to decide, you know, for those that want to stay in the LPN program and those that don't. So we can get our alternates. That's why we brought alternates into this meeting here, because we want to have them ready to go. Because it's very hard on the alternate. Sometimes we've had to do it like a day before school, call them up. It's just a disaster. They just don't have time to be ready, and it puts them behind from the get-go. So we really want to get our class set. I know sometimes there can be an illness, something that can come up, but as soon as you can tell us, that would be best this week. By the end of the week, we'd like to know.
Yeah, we do need to know by the end of the week. So if we don't hear back from you by the end of the week, we'll be offering your spot to somebody else at that point.
So we want you to send an email saying, I want to continue.
Yes, please.
Email?
Christy.
Or you can let us know today if you have a
If you're
decision.
good today,
Yeah.
we'll mark your name. Come up afterwards and then let me put a check mark by your name, and that'll be fine. If not, we want you to email Christy Hawk. Now, she's the one that, I think hers was on the letter, but I can write hers down. It's just Christy. I got her name right, H-A-A-C-K.
There you go. Yep.
Christy Hawk. She's our healthcare secretary down there in the glass office as you're walking down there. If you could email her saying yay or nay, or tell me if you know right now, let me put your name and put a check on there. And that'll be good, because we really want to get everybody situated to go up. And then again, I know if something unfortunate happens, we'll still have a few alternates that we'll call, and sometimes that does happen, you know, as the weeks go. But if there's any way possible, we need your intentions known, because we want to get our clinical, we want to get all our schedules and make sure we have the class, you know, and try to decide. Because like Madison, sometimes what I've done before is once I get the groups, and I'll email them out and say, you know, is there any volunteers for Madison? Sometimes there's people that live closer that way that really want to go there. If there's not, then I just have to put intermingle on how they want. This last time, I had exactly the number I needed at Madison, 5. And they volunteered, and they were thrilled out of their minds, because they live in St. Anthony, Rexburg, Rigby, and they were thrilled. You know, so that's that kind of thing. And then we get things set up with IT for email lists and everything, depending on, we have a lot of preparations we have to do for the next semester.
So I have a couple questions. The first one is the Friday class that's online.
It's
you said
technically,
doesn't
I
have
just
to
threw
be-
it in there because it's hard to throw.
The test will be at the testing center still, right?
That one,
class?
she does it online.
Okay.
She's actually lives in Brigham City. She's a registered dietitian.
Okay.
that's worked at St. Mark's Hospital, in Salt Lake in the past. And so she's doing everything online. And for her class, she has 3 tests. And you just take those. She's actually more like an open book test that you'll take online for her nutrition class.
And then for the clinicals, 2 questions on that. What time do they usually start? So
Say you'd have to be there at least by 5:45 a.m.
Okay, so plan that Wednesdays will be early morning.
Yeah, just plan on the 5:45. If there's another site that we use that's different, we'll let you know. But 5:45.
Is it a 12-hour shift?
No, it'll be 8 to 9 hours. They usually have an hour post-conference from those.
And then did you say that, like, the clinical sites are usually volunteer basis of who wants to go where? Like
sometimes. I'll try that for Madison because there's a more drive for some people, but.
I'm just saying, like, because I've worked at Mountain View before, and not that I had any problems there, but like to get more experience, a different type of experience.
You can always let me know those things, and I can see what I can do as far as that goes.
Okay.
Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But if I knew that, then yeah, if I was able, I'd probably put you in Madison.
Just to get the
just to get
different
you a little bit more
experience and different
experience. But we can't always do that. But
yeah.
With the nutrition class, if we've taken like a 3-credit nutrition class, can we not take that one? Is there a way
that's
to
a
do that?
Jared question.
Yeah, what you would need to do, we need to,
Just transfer my credit?
we try to transfer it. We'd probably need to do a petition, right?
Okay.
And you'd need to get the course description or syllabus for the course. And you'd need to start that process in student services to see if it would be equivalent to the course we're taking and if we could get it transferred in for you.
Okay.
So I would definitely encourage you to do so.
Yeah,
and you
if
give it a
you've
try,
done a
right?
nutrition class, I would definitely, that's a possibility.
So if I'm an alternate, I don't make it, can I still take that class if I'm not in the program?
No, the HCT 125,
Has to be.
it's in the program just because we're using our ATI books with that one, so we're trying to keep that one. It's 1 credit, we're trying to keep that one in the program. So that one would be there as part of the professional program there. So we do have, like I said, clinical simulations, your classwork. One thing on uniforms, you already know that, that's where I was getting off. We don't allow stuff at clinical, like you can only wear 1 pair of earrings that's more like a, stud-like, tiny earrings that we'll allow. We will allow like a spacer, a clear spacer if you've had another set in that you've, just gotten by chance. Don't get any right now, that's the case. But I mean, I know that a lot of them get them in the tragus of the ear. Some will have like 5 of them, 4 of them here, but we just can't have the rings and everything in there at clinical. Things they can get caught on things. It's just not safe, and it goes against the hospital standards don't want it. So a lot of times when we base things, it's because we've kind of gotten a consensus from different people and different hospitals what they want. Color of shoes, we prefer plain black or white shoes with minimal coloring. I know sometimes you can't, but it's minimal coloring. They have to be closed-toed, heeled shoes. It's nice that they can be wiped off because sometimes things splash on them. It's nice to be able to clean your shoes. So that is kind of our expectations there. For clinical shoes, we'd like to have a second-hand watch with a second hand, doesn't have to be used. But it's there. But again, and nose, we don't allow the nose piercings, so no tongue rings. So really the only thing you can have is here. And I know we get fought on that all the time, but that's where it is and that's what the hospitals want. And then as far as tattoos, we want them covered. So that's where sometimes the long sleeves come into effect. People get really creative on how to cover their tattoos. So do know that that'll be an expectation as well. So if you're thinking of getting a Christmas tattoo, just know where your uniform is going to be. You can put it anywhere else because we want you to be the focus, not your tattoos may distract the patient from their pain and things like that, but that's not what the hospital wants to see. Oh, and then none of the gauges. They don't want the gauges either, so none of the gauges. So you have to wait till afterwards if that's what you want to do. But then again, just know that it can make hiring because they're trying to get that really professional appearance. So you can do a lot of things that don't show, or you can put in afterward for your private time, but just know that at the hospital, they want it to be pretty simple. That way we want hair pulled back so it's not falling into the patient's face. And so you're gonna expect to always have your hair pulled back. And your shoes, as part of the package that they'll have at the bookstore, well, maybe not completely in the package, but they'll have it on your book list, there is a stethoscope and a blood pressure cuff. And so you'll use those in the lab. So because you are required to bring a stethoscope to clinical every time. So you bring that in. So, but yeah, again, it's just keeping things kind of clean and neat. And you'll see all the other programs, all of their different scrubs, dental assisting, medical assisting, surgical techs. Everybody's in scrubs most of the time. And we've just gone that way. And one of the real reasons we went that way is because we find everybody's idea of what we determine modest or whatever, we've just seen too much stuff. Like she says, we don't like to see the cracks. That's all we were seeing, here and here, and everybody just wears everything. So it just got so bad that we just go, hey, we're just gonna be like everybody else, we're just gonna wear the scrubs, everything's covered. Because you're bending over, you're moving a lot, you know, and in the hospital you're doing the same thing. And so we just like to keep things covered. You do what you want elsewhere, but here we don't want to see it all. So just know that you get told something, it's like, sometimes we've had to tell them they have to wear a shirt underneath that's longer because they bend over. You know, if they're not long enough, you can wear a longer shirt. Sometimes underneath it, we have creative ways to do about anything. So anyway, so that pretty well covers kind of some of the expectations. It is a big time commitment. I was just bumping into one of our graduates from the RN program on Saturday at Ross's. I just bump into students everywhere I go. I've just been here 5 years, and every time I go to any doctor, I see my students, my former students, everywhere I go. I'm serious, they are everywhere in the community. I go with somebody else, the doctor, I see students everywhere. And so anyway, this student, I had her in the LPN program, and I had her in the RN program. And anyway, she's now the head of a home health agency now in town, and you know, she just put in a big plug. She goes, I don't even want to come talk to your class next semester. But she's hiring nurses, and she just loves the ITech students. And so she said, I'd take an ITech student that's been an LPN and then to RN any day. She said, over somebody that hasn't. And so she goes, I'll come in and even tell your students that. And so I sat there for like 30 minutes talking to her at Rouse's. But anyway, she says she has a big plug-in for that. And as a student, she was older. She was probably, you know, I never want to say people's ages because I always can get it wrong. And the last time I was actually at the hospital with one of our other instructors, I said hi to this guy in the hallway, and she goes, oh, is that your son? And I go, no, that was my husband. So, I mean, that's where age is coming to back. But she was older. Her kids were more grown than not when she came through. And then she did her LPN, and then she's done her RN, and she says she's being paid fantastically and having a great success story for her. But she did say that she thought her LPN did help her a lot. She worked as the doctor's offices and things while she was going through the RN program, and she's just confident. That's the one thing that you'll notice from our nurses, which we're going to have a big time dealing with with our new program, is with our new program we're going to be like the other schools. Right now we're different than the other schools, that our students, we require that CNA, and if you've worked as a CNA, you'll hit the clinical at a higher level than anybody else. You know, it gives you so much more confidence with your patients and things like that, and those basic maneuvers. And just think by being an RN, it won't make a way that you don't have to do CNA stuff. As I worked as a primary nurse, say at Madison, they don't have any CNAs. The RNs do it all. We do all the TENS changes, BAS. That's how as an RN, I didn't expect anything less than that. So that's all I dealt with. I know other places do have CNAs that do that, you know, which they are needed and everything, but just because you're an RN, I still expect to do anything a CNA can do, or an LPN. It's still my duty to do any of those type of duties. Unfortunately, as the RN, you get more responsibility, more paperwork, more headache, but you get more pay to go along with that, which is good. So I'll just put a plug in for our program is that ITech nurses have a good reputation out in the community, but our thing that we're up with, they have experience as an LPN, and then they go in their RN. When they graduate, they just seem to fly. You know, they just seem to go out. Whereas it takes us a lot longer adjustment. You know, I didn't do the LPN. I survived, you know. But I look back at these LPNs I've worked with, and I've loved all the LPNs I've worked with, and they've made wonderful RNs. You know, and I'm kind of jealous. You know, as I go, God, I wish I could have been like that when I graduated from nursing school. So, but again, everybody's different. You know, some adjust faster, but one of the biggest problems people at the hospitals are having with their nurses is they just don't know their fundamental skills. You know, they're just not confident with the patients. They don't have a good work ethic. They say laziness, not knowing their basics, and again, customer service is huge. They say, we can help, you know, we can keep going over skills with you to a certain degree, but if you don't have that good customer service, if you're not a people person, it's hard to succeed, especially in a lot of things in nursing. You know, is you have to be good with people. You have to be able to talk with them, assess them, and be really good. So if you don't like working with people, nursing's not it, because that's all you do is customer service. You may have worked retail, but there's a lot of retail. Your retail experience would be wonderful, because working with people, it's just working people and getting along with people is huge. So anyway, so we just want to know your decisions, and I don't want to force anybody into anything they don't want to do. And you have to all do what's best for you. But I've loved the iTech LPNs. I have to put a plug in for that. So anyway, I've seen a lot of good success stories, but it is more work, more money, all that other kind of thing does go in it, so I can understand. So, any more questions?
During class time, when we're taking notes and such, do you mind us having laptops to take notes on?
Generally, it's up to the teacher, but in the past we haven't, as long as we don't see you shopping and doing other kinds of things on the computer.
Facebook.
Yeah. So if you're on Facebook and doing those type of things and the teacher's walking around, they may tell everybody they can't have their computers. But if you're just doing it for school, like some people like to have the PowerPoint right up in front of their face and then take notes, that's fine, generally speaking.
You said that this Thursday class may change to Monday?
Oh, Tara was just telling me another idea. I'm just saying that we're going to have a different instructor teach this one, and there's a slight chance.
Is Shelby not doing it?
So at this point, it doesn't look like she'll be doing that one. So we're going to be changing that one. So I think it'll probably stay where it's at, but just know that that class could possibly change. But it can only change to here on this day, pretty much. Because we're not going to go for a Friday. You know, so it's either going to be most likely here or here, but we'll get you the word on that as soon as we can. I mean, we'll get that word out. We should hopefully have it decided in the next few weeks. And we will send out emails to everybody. If there's a change, we'll let you know.
That would free up a whole day for people to work.
Yeah.
If people want that longer Monday.
Yeah. But like I said, it kind of depends on which teacher in the slots we can work with. So I can't promise anything on that one, but we do understand that that was brought up too. So it is a long day though. It is a big.
But it's free, like, I don't work very much, but I like the idea of 4 days to study, you know, and to have those morning, you know.
Yeah.
And then next, I guess, the fall semester, are we looking at kind of ish the same schedule?
It'll be a little bit different because fall semester you have more clinical. So you'll actually be having Tuesday, Wednesday clinicals.
Okay.
You'll have med-surg generally almost every Tuesday for the whole entire semester. And then on Wednesdays, you'll be having some at State Hospital South and some at the Madison obstetrical floor. And so you'll be having those as well. So about half the semester or so in those. So, and then on this rotation here too, on the med-surg, we're going to be rotating you into the community cares and things. We'll send, we have 5 sites, and so you'll be rotating at least 3 of these shifts will be at a community care, so the time will be a little different. It'll be more like an 8 to 5.
And looking at classes Mondays and Thursdays.
And then, yeah, you're looking at classes Mondays and Thursdays.
Okay.
But you will have 4 classes. And so you'll be having leadership, med-surg, maternal child, and mental health. Well, mental health will be right now it's an online class, except for the clinicals. So, yeah, you'll be looking, but those are 4 pretty big classes, there's a lot to do with them, but yeah. So we'll try to avoid Fridays, and yeah. And again, if you do come in the 2 days, you know, you can still be taking tests. If you have to come in, it's a good day to take tests. But again, we understand, and we'll see what we can
So
do.
did you say that it changed, it's no longer spring and summer and fall? Or is that still?
There's not a summer.
There's
There's
not
no
summer
summer.
course.
No more
So,
summer.
yeah, there's no, we took the summer out, so you guys are looking at January semester and August to come. And you would graduate in December, and you have the whole summer off. Okay? So that's what you're looking at for the new program. Because again, we just started the new LPN program, we revised it, and we just started it this fall. And so it's been streamlined as much as we can and trying to get through a little bit faster. So, anyway, any other questions?
What about our financial aid? I've been getting notes saying, because we were enrolled in the fall or whatever. So it's saying that your student loans are gonna start being due. Because I'm not in this semester. So I've just been waiting for the program to start.
And I would say that's a very good question. I would contact financial aid about that
Okay.
sort of stuff.
Okay.
They're gonna have the expertise. We could make something up if you wanted to.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one, yeah, we'd have to talk to, we'd probably send you over to the students, you know, over there, just to talk to them about that. One other thing I just needed to let you know is that one thing that's different about nursing is that we do require a 75% class total, as well as class average, as well as test average. So we have 2 columns in every class watching those. And you have to have a 75% or above in both columns in order to pass the class. And we do not round up. So I just need to make sure you guys are aware of that. And so 75s and above. And again, we do a percentage system, so our points don't add up because we have lots of different things that go into our grade. And so we have a weighted column based on percentages, like tests are 55 to 60%, you know, assignments are this, quizzes, and it'll end up totaling 100%. And so you have to pass that, and then Brett referred to, Mr. Maxfield referred to ATI. We do have a system, that's why your fees are high. They pay the first semester for this ATI package, and it has videos, all these tests that we use. And so at the end of like the semester, like at the end of this semester right here, you'll be taking an ATI proctored test for fundamentals, and you'll be taking one, not for med surg, you'll do that the next semester, and pharm. So you'll have 2 of these proctored tests. And so for an ATI proctored test, what we do is we give you all these practice tests beforehand to let you practice, and then we take you into the testing center as a class, and then you take a timed test put out by the ATI company. And the whole purpose of this is to see if you're on track for your NCLEX, because we want you to pass the NCLEX. That's the whole purpose, is that you pass the boards at the end. And so then what happens is it'll, based on your score, you'll either get a level 1, 2, or 3, because they have a range. And a level 1 means you meet minimum expectations. A level 2 means you're right down the middle with expectations for boards. A level 3 means you exceed expectations. And so what we do is, if you get a level 3, you get 95%. This is a 3. A 2 is an 85, because you're right there. And a level 1 is a 75%. And this counts as 25% of your test grade. So, if you get below a level 1, then it's 50%. And then we allow you to always retake, but then on a retake, you can only get a 90, 80, 70, and 50. And so, in between tests, if you want, they can remediate. It'll tell you the areas you were weak in, and you can take time to restudy, and then you can retake the test. The only thing that this would hurt you is if your test average was below a 75. We've had people save themselves with their ATI, that they were below a 75% test average, and then they got a level 2, and that raised them up. And then we've had, not too many, but occasionally, well, only one I know of, that, you know, was at least a 75, and then she couldn't get above a level 1. You know, so generally, if you can at least have a 75% test average and you can meet at least level 1, then you'll pass the class. I know everybody kind of freaks out about having to take these proctored tests, but it's just kind of to get you in the mode to be able to pass your NCLEX and see how you are. And if you get a level 1 in one class and a level 3, you know, there's sometimes on a certain subject you're not quite as good in, but if you can at least meet minimum expectations, you know, that's what we're looking at. And so when you see ATI, you'll be doing tutorials, you'll be doing practice tests, and then this is the proctor test. But we'll tell all of this again to you when you come back in January. So anyway, I think we're about out of time. Now we do have it set up to go, if you know you're staying, then I'll take you over to student services and they'll get your picture ID right now. If you're not sure you're gonna do it, then you need to come in, we'll have to get another date set up for you to come in. They usually like Thursdays, but we'd like you to get your IDs before you get in with your scrubs.
Do we need anything from them in terms of like TB tests, CPR cards, or any of those things?
Do you guys have any of those to turn in? In the letter she sent out, if you have any of those items, turn those in to me now. If you don't have everything done at this point, then our hard date is December 10th, so this week, December 10th. We've had too much trouble tracking people down. Our poor secretary has counted students till she's about to go crazy, trying to get all these different due dates in. So if there's anything that's gonna expire for you, like TB, CPR, your background check, which she should have had in the letter, but if you don't know, then afterwards you can go down to my office and I can look it up, or you can email me, call me, and I'll look it up to be sure. Then it has to be in by December 10th. So anything that expires in January, February, March, or April, we want it current at the beginning of the semester so we don't have to hound you, because our clinical spots require us to have this stuff in. And so December 10th, and then it'll be August 1st. And so by August 1st, then you need to turn in anything that has expired during the summer or will expire till December. So those are gonna be our two big dates and our big push to get things in so we can have a nice calm semester without having to harass. Well, we feel like we're constantly bugging students over and over again.
Yeah, it's one of the prerequisites still.
Now the
Yep.
flu shot is not, you will,
Because it's kind of, I would probably
see, I would suggest it because depending on your clinical site, they usually go to the end of March. And you should be in clinical before then. And so I would advise you to get the clinical, and because it's not gonna be, if you wait, they might be out of the vaccine, and then it's not gonna be any good. So, yeah, you can get your flu shots, that would be wonderful. That would be great.
Do you want us to bring?
We need a copy. Yeah, we do need a copy of some kind of proof about your flu shots.
Okay, and we will enroll you into your professional coursework for the LPN program, and we will do so once we have all these items that we need. If we have anything pending with your TB test or your CPR card, anything that's expired that we need updated, we won't enroll you until we do get those items. So you will be enrolled kind of automatically
As soon as we get the items.
as soon as we get all the items that we need from you.
So a copy of the.
Yes, and do give us copies, not originals,
Yeah, we
right?
don't want
Because
your
you want to
originals
keep those things
because
for yourself.
Student services doesn't want to give copies.
Not in this
Make sure you keep
building,
your own records up to date.
the library, that's right.
Is that where we're getting our ID cards?
I actually get it in building 3 as student
Hospitals require us
services.
to do a yearly one, so 1 year from when you.
What is the semester